Welcome to a little bit of Calm and Crazy. Today I am so excited to be able to share with you some boho inspired high-end looking Dollar Tree DIYs. If you are new, my name is Jennifer and I enjoy sharing easy DIYs and budget decor that look as good, if not better, than what you can find in stores. If that sounds good to you, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram. It is a little bit of Calm and Crazy over there, just like it is here. And let's go ahead and just jump right on into it. So Dollar Tree has this fern towel, and immediately as soon as I saw it, I knew that it would make the perfect pillow. And I looked over in the kitchen section and noticed that they also had this really beautiful navy color dish towel as well. Let me tell you, both of these towels are super soft. They're more like a microfiber kind of feel, but I promise you they're very soft. So I took the towels, I laid them on top of each other because I wanted to go ahead and just cut them together. So I went ahead and I cut off the edge of the towel, or the little hem on the edge of the towel. But before I moved on, I measured the width of the towel because that was going to be the length of my towel, or my pillow, I should say. I wanted to go ahead and create a square pillow. Now, honestly, I think that this towel could make a really beautiful like bolster pillow. I think you really could play with the different size of pillow that you have. I don't think you're stuck in just a square pillow. After that, I just finished trimming the edges of my towel. I wanted to make sure all four edges were completely raw before I moved on to my next step. For anyone new to the sewing world, make sure that your right sides of your fabric are facing in and that the wrong sides of the fabric are facing out. Of course, you can sew this. It would sew up super easily, but I'm going to go ahead and go in with some hot glue fabric glue. I absolutely love this stuff. It's from Bonder. It's one of my favorite products. And if you've been around, you're not surprised to hear that. It's just super quick and easy. Now, I'm actually currently using the black one in here, and you're going to see that I end up switching to the white one. For this project, I don't think it really matters. I end up switching to the white one because I have another project coming up that I want the white one, and so I just am thinking ahead. Now, when you're using the fabric glue, you do want to kind of allow for like a seam allowance. Just like when you're sewing, you kind of give that 1/4 of an inch, so you do move down a little bit. I work in small sections, so I'll work in like a couple inches, lay it down, and then kind of smush it. Once it's down, I will tell you, you don't have that same harshness or it's not at, fabric glue is more flexible than like your traditional hot glue. That's what I'm trying to say. You can wash these. You would not want to put them in the dryer because they don't do heat, because that's what would melt them, but they can stand up to washing. You also want to make sure that you are leaving an area open. I always leave it open at the bottom and in the center. So I'll come in on both sides, but leave a good 3 inches right in the center that I do not put any hot glue. If you're sewing, it would be the same thing. So maybe it's more like 2 to 3 inches, whatever you're comfortable with when you need to go turn your pillow and then you're gonna be stuffing it. So go ahead and turn your pillow so that you have your right sides out, and then you're gonna stuff it with whatever you wanna stuff it with. I have this huge box of like polyfill that I picked up on Amazon a while back. This stuff is gonna last me for quite a while, but I love being able to make pillows on a budget, so I'm quite okay. I got it for, I thought it was a really great deal, and it is saving me a lot of money. So anyway, go ahead and stuff that pillow, and then you got to close that seam. I like to use these clips that I picked up at Dollar Tree to help me because I feel like I need extra fingers. I can't seem to hold the seam together, but you can also use like pins if you want to pin it. There are other options, so don't feel like if you can't find these clips, don't stress about it, but I like these clips for other reasons too, so if you do find them, snag them for $1. They're a great deal. Now I'm just going in with a hot glue and just putting it right on the edge and using the little clamps to help hold it while it sets up. Now if you were to sew this, I'm not sure exactly what stitch you would use, so if you know, can you just leave a comment down below? What stitch would you use to help close this if you were sewing it? You could choose to use the fabric hot glue or sew this. I don't think you can go wrong. Both ways would be really easy. This is a super simple, affordable project, and I think the pillow is super pretty. So for this project, I have 6 of these boxes from Dollar Tree. I absolutely love these. They're so versatile for so many different projects. But for this project, I needed 6. I have 2 of each color. I am not painting these for this project, but if that wouldn't work for you, by all means, you could paint them. But this time, we're gonna leave them the way they are. Because I am stacking these boxes, I'm taking the bottom box and removing that center piece. And then after that, I'm gonna remove the hanging hardware that is on the back of each of the boxes. You can go ahead and use a screwdriver if you want to do that, but honestly, they pop off pretty easily if you just take the screwdriver right underneath. I just can pop it under and then pull it off. It's faster to do that. I even grab a pair of pliers and pull it. I still find that faster than trying to take this tiny little screwdriver and turning, but however you want to do it, just get the hardware off. After that, I go in and I push the backing out of the remaining boxes. I leave the backing in that first box, but the other 5 boxes, I remove the backing. Now, sometimes the backing pops out super easy and sometimes it kind of gets caught a little bit. When that happens, I go in with my Fiskars craft knife and I just take it along the edges to loosen it up. That just means that there's a little bit of extra adhesive holding the paper on, and so I just take that along the edge and then you'll see that it pops off really easily after that. Again, I'm removing 5 of the bottoms from the boxes, leaving the 6th bottom intact because that will be the bottom of our box once we stack it. After that, I went in with a paint scraper and I scraped off any of the excess adhesive that was still remaining left behind. This is the difference in making this look like a project that is just kind of slapped together versus a project that looks like you might have purchased it at a store, making it look a little bit more high end. Just taking that extra step to get rid of that adhesive and then just taking a fine grit 120 sandpaper and just sanding it to just really finish it off. To go inside the box, into that bottom box, I'm using this cork that I picked up at Dollar Tree. It is an adhesive bottom, and so in order to have this fit, I just measured out my box and then I cut according to that size. Once I had it cut out, you just peel the back right off, stick it inside your box, and I thought that that matched up so well. So now the only thing left to do is to put the box together, and the way that I did that was I used some good old-fashioned wood glue, just putting it around the edges, making sure that I wiped off any of the excess. I just used a lint-free damp cloth in order to do that. Once I had done all the wood glue, I did make sure I just left it alone to let it dry. Then after that, you can style this in so many different ways. If you've been around, you know that I love to use boxes in my decor. I think this would make a great box you can put your remotes in. Of course, I like to turn boxes on their side in order to use it to elevate different things. But going along with this whole fern thing, of course, I picked up these ferns from Walmart and I thought they looked perfect inside of this box. This is one of my absolute favorite projects and it is so simple to do. So you start off with these 8x10 stretch canvases. I got these at Dollar Tree, as well as these floral picks, also from the Dollar Tree, but sometimes they're harder to find. But I know that Walmart carries something very similar. You can also find something at a craft store with a coupon, or if they're on sale, they're about $1 to $1.50. So to start off with, I'm removing the canvas from the wooden frame that it is wrapped around. Now you can absolutely remove all of those staples if you want to, but honestly, I've tried in the past and I always end up hurting myself, so it's not worth it to me to do it that way. But by all means, you do you. I just prefer just to cut it off using my craft knife. I'm also using a metal ruler so I can have straight lines. It's not necessary. I'm just a little type A, so it works for me. So I just go around all 4 sides and get that off. Once you have removed your canvas, you have a wooden frame that is left behind, but it's a little bit raw and rough. So you're gonna go in with a 120 grit sandpaper and sand any of those rough spots just to smooth it out. At this point, you could absolutely leave the frame the way that it is, or you could paint it, but I'm gonna go in with Waverly's Wax and Antique. It's a beautiful brown, but I'm gonna use it like a stain. I absolutely love using it like a stain because it dries faster and it's less messy. So you're just gonna brush it on and wipe off the excess just like you would a stain, but luckily you don't have that same wait time. Once it completely dries, we need to go ahead, or for this project, we need to go ahead and put the canvas back on. But in order to do this, we first need to trim the canvas down so that it fits just on the back side and it's not showing or hanging over. So I need to trim down the back so that they will fit, trim down the canvas so that they will fit on the back. So I first do that, and then I go in to attach them to the back. I just go in with a staple gun. This is my SureBonder staple gun. Now, I talk about their hot glue guns all the time because I love them. I hardly ever mention this. And every time I pull it out, I think to myself, I seriously need to come up with more projects to use this thing because it is fantastic. I have used other staple guns, but this has like this little trigger thing on it that honestly, it makes it so easy to use it. It's hard to explain. It really is a fantastic staple gun. So if you don't have a staple gun, I would suggest that you look into this one. I should mention that I'm also using the underneath part of the canvas now as what I chose to put facing upwards. It's more an oatmeal color instead of that stark white. Now for the florals, I have already cut these picks apart for a previous project, and so now I'm just going to kind of just choose the parts that I want to go on each canvas. For two of them, I wanted it to be green, and the other two, I was just gonna have little hints of purple. But of course, you can mix and match however you want. So in order to place the picks down or the leaves down at this point, I am using some hot glue to do that, but I'm being very careful. I am putting the hot glue on the end of the stems because I feel like that is the most secure spot to put it. And then I'm just thinking very carefully as I move up the leaves to think about where I want to put it, because I don't want the leaves to be completely stuck. I feel like that would lose some of that motion or movement that I'm looking for. If I wanted them to be completely stuck, I could have gone in with Mod Podge or like a spray adhesive. I really do want them to still have some of that dimensional or that dimension that they get from the fact that this is not a print. If you want a print, there's plenty of those out there. This gives you just a different look than using just a print. Now, I also made sure that I'm using just the tiniest bit in each spot because I don't want the hot glue seeping out. And anytime I saw any string, I made sure I immediately got rid of it because I didn't want any strings. Again, that makes the difference between making this look like something you can purchase in a store versus something that you just kind of slap together at home. I really wanted this to have a very high-end look. To be absolutely honest, these turned out so much better than I even thought that they would. I think they look great on camera, but I think that there's something about them in person just because of all that dimension that you don't even capture. I think the camera loses. They are just absolutely beautiful. Here are a couple more high-end inspired videos for you to check out. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.